guys, just Rob here, just doing another video, doing a bit of a spur of the moment style video. I thought I might perhaps do Ryan Chattaways 12-hour horror movie Scarefest video, where he sort of asked us to sort of watch 12 hours of horror movies and just sort of make a video about it. So I thought I'd just sort of decide just today to do that. I'm not necessarily perhaps a huge sort of horror fan. I used to sort of watch a fair few when I was a lot younger, not so much these days though. I thought I might perhaps take part in that. I thought it might be a bit of fun. So sort of went to the video shop today, and I haven't actually been to the video shop for quite a few years actually. I thought it might just be a bit of a change for me, and so I sort of went down there and just sort of got five DVDs. The first sort of rule was, or first question, or whatever you want to call it, was sort of just to have a Universal Monsters one. So I just got Frankenstein, sort of the old black and white Boris Karloff one. Next one was just a zombie film. So I sort of randomly just picked up the remake of Day of the Dead, George Romero's sort of remake of his original film. It's got Mina Savara in it, so I've always been a bit of a fan of her ever since she was in the American Pie movies. So not expecting too much from it, but I'll just give it a bit of a watch. Next one was just a sort of a film that you've never sort of seen before, but you've always sort of wanted to watch it. So I sort of grabbed Drag You to Hell. I've sort of had a lot of really sort of good things about this sort of Sam Raimi film, so might sort of thought I might just give that a bit of a watch and just sort of see what that one's like. Next one was a film that sort of scared you, basically sort of scared the crap out of you when you sort of watched it. So I picked up Stephen King's Pet Sematary, which I sort of watched when I was a very young kid, and I just remember being really sort of freaked out by it. I just remember seeing. It's probably pretty tame, but I haven't sort of seen this film for years, so the scene's probably very tame. But I just remember seeing, or at least I hope it was in this movie. I think someone's sort of mother or grandmother, and she's sort of sitting in I think it's a rocking chair or something, and she's just got her body's just all sort of twisted and just really, I don't know, she just seemed quite deformed or something. And I just really remember just sort of being really freaked out by that. So I'm looking forward to sort of watching that, sort of see what that scene's like. I'm sure the whole movie's pretty sort of freaky, so I'm looking forward to sort of watching that one. The final one I actually picked up because I think it was last night I sort of watched the remake of the original, the Omen. So I thought I just sort of watched that last night, so I thought I might, I actually just picked up the original one, the 1970s one, just to sort of give that a bit of a watch. The remake was, I don't know, it was alright, I suppose. It did have a few nice sort of scenes in it, I thought. Some nice things that I sort of didn't mind about it. But a lot of things didn't sort of make sense. Some of the storyline didn't sort of make sense. Some of the actions of the characters didn't seem quite to, ring true, I suppose. So I just sort of thought about just watching the original one and sort of see what that one's like. So I'm not too sure how I'm going to do this exactly. I don't know if I'll perhaps just watch one at a time and then come back and sort of make my comments about it, or I might perhaps just watch them all and then, I don't know, just give a big talk about it at the end. I don't know. But I'll see how we go. I might start just with the Frankenstein, so I might start with that. I think there's actually some other questions, wasn't there, actually? You also wanted to know your top 5 horror movies. I might perhaps give that a bit more of a think first, and then I might come back to that. Just a bit of a spur of the moment thing. I'm doing this, so I haven't had a chance perhaps to have a good think about it. I've got a few ideas of what some of them would be, but I don't know. I have a bit of a think about it, Last question was, just wanted to know what your thoughts about the future of the horror movie genre, I guess. Well, I think we're always going to have horror movies. I mean, they're always a very popular, genre. And any sort of amateur filmmaker has made some sort of a horror movie at some point in their career, even if it's like a basic, very dodgy thing. So I think we're always going to have, I'm pretty sure we're always going to have, you know, remakes and stuff, but I'm probably going to have a few movies occasionally that are going to be, you know, have a nice, interesting storyline to it or whatever. So yeah, so we'll get cracking. I'll start with Frankenstein and I'll come back to you once I've watched it. Okay, so I've just sort of finished sort of watching 2 of the movies so far. I think I started about, I think it's either 2 or 2:30 in the afternoon. I think it's about 5 o'clock now. I think, yeah, about 5 o'clock. Yeah, so I watched Frankenstein. That was the first one I sort of watched, and I actually thought that was actually pretty good. I thought, nice sort of old school, sort of black and white. Great sort of costume design from the, you know, Frankenstein's a fairly sort of, you know, iconic image, I guess, and that's actually pretty good to watch. You know, got sort of the bolts in his neck and all that sort of stuff. Some of the set design I thought was, you know, pretty cool too. You know, before we sort of had, you know, CGI and stuff. You know, it was all practical sort of background. You know, I sort of like the opening scenes where you're in sort of the graveyard and sort of had the gravestones are all sort of you know, on weird sort of angles, and you know, sort of made it a bit sort of creepy. I think it was only about an hour and, yeah, I think it was only about an hour and 4 minutes. It was a very sort of short movie. I guess that was probably expected. I think it was 1934 or something that came out. So I think they normally were fairly sort of short, you know, around that sort of time. So you sort of, I think some of the scenes were perhaps just a little bit rushed. I think if it had been like an hour and a half, it probably would have been a bit better film. I think, you know, sort of expand out some of the, you know, expand out some of the scenes, but overall, I thought it was pretty, you know, pretty interesting watch. It's been a while since I've sort of seen a sort of an old sort of black and white sort of horror style movie, you know. Yeah, that was pretty good. Next one I watched was the remake, you know, the Day of the Dead remake, which I just think, I don't think I've actually sort of seen. I don't think I've seen the original one. I'm not too sure, to be honest. I might have done, I think. I actually thought this was actually pretty good. I thought I was actually quite surprised. It was actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be. There's a sort of storyline to it, and I was pretty, you know, pretty interested, sort of watching all the way through it. Pretty entertained, and you know, it wasn't too sort of stupid and cheesy. You know, decent sort of acting, I think, for the most part. I thought Sematary thought she was actually pretty good. And it's also got Ving Rhames, I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's also in it as well. Yeah, decent sort of storyline, nice sort of, you know, effects to it. I thought, lots of blood and nice looking, or I should say nice looking zombies, I suppose, but scary looking zombies, I suppose, would be a better way to describe it. You know, really nice sort of effects. You know, I thought the end was perhaps a bit sort of stupid, I think, but you know, but overall I thought it was pretty good. Nice sort of artwork, I think, too, and a lot sort of the hand there and everything. So yeah, so that's that. I think next we're going to watch probably another 2, probably. Probably, you know, the Drag Me to Hell, probably, and then I'll probably watch Pet Sematary. That's probably the next one I'll watch. Yeah, so I'll watch them, and then I'll come back. Okay, so I've just sort of finished sort of watching the next 2 movies, Drag Me to Hell and the Pet Sematary. Just start with Drag Me to Hell. What can I say? I really didn't like this one that much, to be honest. I don't know, no offense to the people that do like it, but yeah, I just thought it was a really stupid movie, and just, I don't know, really sort of badly acted and very sort of cliched storyline, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know, I guess it was sort of fun to watch because I just did sort of find it really sort of comical, some of the things that were sort of happening in it. Just, yeah, I don't know, just silly, like it was sort of about the main character, and she's like she works in a bank, and sort of, you know, in the loan section, giving out loans, and some old lady comes in, and you know, the bank's given her, you know, 2 chances already to, you know, sort of help, you know, to pay back a loan, and she's so basically going to, you know, repossess a house, I guess. You know, she says no, we can't sort of help you anymore, and old lady sort of freaks out and puts a curse on her, or, you know. The movie sort of goes from there. Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't like it much, to be honest. Yeah, it was a bit silly, I thought. Anyway, so on to Pet Sematary. This is actually one that I really did like this one. It's perhaps a little bit, perhaps sort of dated, I suppose, by today's standards, and I don't know. I suppose the premise was perhaps a little bit silly, I guess, if you want to sort of think about it too much. But it was definitely, yeah, it really sort of still sort of freaked me out, much like it did when I was a kid. It's very creepy, and you know, just sort of gives you the chills a bit. You know, essentially it's about a family that's sort of moving to a new house, and the house is just, you know, right next to a sort of a major road where these big sort of semi-trailers sort of come past all the time, which is probably not a good place to sort of raise kids in, you know. You know, of course the cat dies, you know, so it gets hit by a semi-trailer or whatever, and you know, the old man across the road says, well, I know this, you know, pet cemetery or whatever, we can sort of bring back, you know, if you bury the cat in a certain place, it'll come back to life in a few days' time, sort of thing. And you know, and of course it doesn't sort of come back, you know, as a normal cat. It comes back a bit, you know, a bit possessed or whatever. And so anyway, you know, the son, you know, obviously ends up being hit by a semi-trailer. So the father, you know, takes the son up there and buries him in this, you know, well, it's like an Indian graveyard, and you know, obviously the kid comes back, and basically kills everyone, sort of thing. Yeah, definitely very creepy, and very, you know, still sort of freaked me out a bit. And I mean, you know, I sort of mentioned before about the scene about, I thought it was like an old mother or a grandmother or something sitting in a rocking chair and being all twisted and stuff. But I think it's actually, I obviously got that a bit wrong. It's actually the sister of the wife. You know, when they were kids, her sister had some sort of disease, and that's sort of why she was all deformed type thing. And that still freaked me out when I was sort of watching the scene where she was in the bed, you know, all sort of deformed and everything, you know. Yeah, definitely freaked me out. The whole thing freaked me out. Yeah, so that's Pet Sematary. That's a really good one I haven't seen for a long time, and I did actually enjoy it. Yeah, so I think I've got perhaps one more out of the 5 that I sort of hired out. Just the original Omen. So we'll get onto that, and then I'm not too sure what I'm going to watch next, but I'm sure I'll have a bit of a look and find something. So yeah, so I'll be back in a minute with my thoughts on this one. Okay, so I think it's about 2 o'clock, I think, in the morning. So I have sort of managed to do the 12 hours just, which is good, because I'm actually quite tired at the moment. I'm really sort of pretty keen to go to bed. So I sort of started to watch the Omen. I got about probably halfway through it, and for some reason the DVD would just stop working. It just sort of kept cutting out. So I sort of had a bit of a play around for a while trying to get it to play, and I've actually sort of just decided to download it just off the internet. So while that was sort of downloading, I decided to perhaps just watch another one while I was waiting. Probably not necessarily your typical horror movie, but it's one that I have sort of wanted to watch for quite a while. I have sort of seen it before once back in 2004. I think I've actually got the receipt in the DVD here of when I bought it, so I know what year I watched it. I got, yeah, talking about the Battle Royale. So yeah, it's one of your typical horror one, but I thought it's something I sort of wanted to watch again, and decided to give it a bit of a go. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. I remember sort of when I sort of watched it the first time, I thought it was, you know, pretty good. Not nice sort of use of gore and stuff. You know, a lot of people sort of say it's where they sort of got the inspiration for the Hunger Games from, which I can sort of see, I guess. But yeah, it's actually pretty good. You know, nice sort of gore, and it's a bit sort of cheesy in a few moments, I suppose. And I think because they're teenagers, a bit of sort of lovey-dovey sort of storyline going on as well between some of the, you know, male and female actors, I suppose. Essentially, you know, obviously people know what it's about, but essentially about, you know, the sort of parents get a bit sick of their kids being, you know, not listening to them, I suppose. Like, well, essentially, well, their teacher sort of sends them off to like an island, and basically, I think there's about 30 of them or something, and just tell them that, you know, to just kill each other, and the last person, you know, alive can sort of leave the island, sort of thing. And they get, you know, different sort of weapons. You know, they might get a gun or a knife or something, or they might just get a pair of binoculars, or I think even one thing was just like a metal sort of plate, I think, or something like that, a metal sort of serving tray or something, whatever it was. Just, yeah, that would probably wouldn't be a very good weapon, I don't think. So yeah, that was pretty good. A lot of people really do like that one. So once that was sort of finished, I sort of got back to watching the Omen, the downloaded version that I sort of downloaded. And so there's not a whole lot of difference really between the remake and the original one. It's very much like the remake was very much a sort of a, you know, it was exactly the same sort of dialogue, and most of the scenes were pretty much the same, you know, sort of filmed the same and stuff. A few slight variations here and there and stuff. I think I did perhaps prefer the original. I think the original was a bit better. In terms of storyline, I think it sort of made a bit more sense. I think in the remake they did sort of change a few things here and there. I think that sort of hurt the storyline a little bit, I think. But there were perhaps a couple of things, perhaps in the remake, that I perhaps did like a little bit better. Perhaps just some of the dialogue was, well, it was delivered, I suppose, was a little bit better, and some things were just a little bit more neater, I suppose. But the original one was a lot better acted, and you know, nice sort of use of music and suspense, and definitely a good sort of flick. Yeah, so that's my sort of 12 hours, I suppose. I probably would watch another one, but I'm pretty keen to go to bed, so I think I'll just do that. So I did sort of enjoy doing that. It was actually pretty good. I saw some films that I haven't sort of seen for a long time, and had sort of perhaps wouldn't mind, had sort of wanted to watch again, I guess. Yeah, so that's it. Hope you enjoyed that. And I'm sure I'll see you soon with another video. Thanks. Okay, so I've actually realised I've forgot to sort of say what my top 5 horror movies were. So I might just include that just at the end of this sort of video. As I sort of said before, I'm not necessarily a sort of a huge sort of horror fan, but I have sort of gone through my collection and had a bit of a think about it, and sort of picked out 5 that, you know, films that I really do, horror related, you know, scary type movies that I do sort of, you know, do really like and really do enjoy. And these are in sort of, you know, no particular order too, by the way. But obviously you want it to be Silence of the Lambs. I think that's just a great sort of movie, and you know, obviously, you know, Hannibal Lecter's just a great character, and very sort of, you know, menacing and a bit scary style character. Another one have to be the one I watched recently. Have to be The Exorcist. I think that, you know, just a great, really old school 70s movie. Great sort of, you know, cinematography in it, and you know, it's very scary, especially the little girl being a demon and basically swearing her head off, you know, during the movie. That's pretty cool. That's good. Another movie I watched fairly recently, which I thought was actually really good. Obviously, it's, you know, the original John Carpenter's Halloween. Just really, I think it's just for a relatively sort of low budget type movie. It was actually a really well made movie. I thought great sort of characters, and, you know, good dialogue, and I think it just had really good sort of pacing in it as well. Really, how you sort of, I don't know, you sort of swept from sort of one side of the strip to the other type thing, you know, sort of thing. I also sort of liked how sort of Michael Myers was sort of always sort of in shadow all the time. I mean, he wasn't sort of, like, he'd be very sort of close to people there, but he'd just be sort of out of, you know, just in the dark sort of thing, so they wouldn't sort of notice him, you know, even though he's, you know, pretty much right up on top of them type thing. That's a good one. Obviously Jaws, another one I watched fairly recently, and, you know, obviously the new Blu-ray release. just yeah, really, it's really good. Probably probably the favourite horror movie would have to be one of my favourite films of all time. Maybe it's a bit more sci-fi than horror, but I suppose it is classed as horror, and it is quite scary. It'd have to be the original Alien movie, Ridley Scott's movie. Just yeah, great, great movie, great suspense, and it's very sort of dark and great use of sort of silence, sort of eerie silences. You never really knowing quite where the alien is, and just stuff like that. Just I suppose that'd have to be my top one, I reckon. My favourite horror movie of all time. Yeah, so that's I was probably mention probably I was sort of thinking about different sort of genres of horror movies, and probably I guess werewolves are probably obviously got the Werewolf in London. That's probably the most sort of famous one that most people say. But probably which is a good film. I do sort of enjoy that one. Another one, but I always thought that I always really enjoyed Soldier Dogs, which I thought that was a really good movie. Great sort of old school type sort of design to the werewolves, with the big sort of heads and everything. I always thought that was really cool, even though it's a bit, probably a bit, I don't know, some people might think that's a bit tacky, but I always thought that was, that was always pretty cool. Good sort of film, I always thought. It does have a few sort of, I did sort of watch it recently, it does have a few silly moments in it here and there, but I think overall it's a good sort of fun sort of watch. Yeah, so that's my video. Hope you enjoy watching that. I'll leave some comments below, that'd be great. And yeah, just thanks for watching.